So I have to want to
I call this meeting to order. And this time I'd like to ask Mr. Calvin to lead us in our prayer, prayer and praise.
Heavenly Father, as we come to you today, we come to you just with our hearts full of pride, and we just thank you for all the blessings that you bestow upon us. We have so many wonderful things going on with our students and our staff, and we just thank you for those blessings. We ask for your guidance and your wisdom as we deliberate today and we make decisions that affect our students and our staff. All these things we ask in your name we pray. And please give safe traveling mercies for all those that are attending the baseball game. In your name we pray. Amen.
I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mr. Calvin. And welcome to our visitors and everybody else. If you like anything you'd like to say this morning, I'd like to give you a brief moment at the podium.
All of our visitors are on the agenda.
For those of you who do not know, the Worcester Red Devils will be playing for the state championship this afternoon in baseball. They're just trying to keep up with Chiefs.
That's right.
Go Red Devils. So we'll see what happens. Our first item of business is recognizing the school nurse. And I understand that we might be real close, or maybe her birthday. Is that anything to do that?
Oh, one day shy.
Tomorrow?
Tomorrow. Yeah.
Well, that's close enough. Happy birthday. Happy birthday.
She means celebrating that for a long time.
Yeah, it just keeps going.
My kind of girl.
Yeah.
So, we're glad you're here. Dr. Hall?
Yes.
No, where's the angel dog?
Hey.
Where's the dog? Angel dog.
Nobody's ever seen you all.
Oh, it's
I
scary.
don't have the doll, they won't let me get my hands on.
Good morning, Superintendent Hastings, Board Chair Mr. Philpott, our board members, Mr. Delaney, our board attorney, our colleagues, and special guests. It really is great pleasure to stand before you with such excitement, Amy Norris and myself, and others who are going to join us momentarily, to recognize someone's very special to all of us, a very special educator. Angie Phillips, who has served our district for approximately 10 years as our school nurse, recently received the School Nurse of the Year Award at the annual Florida School Health Association Awards Luncheon. This distinguished award is given to an individual who advocates for students, serves as a positive role model, is involved in community activities, initiates school projects, and overall for her diligent work in school health and prevention. At this time, Jeannie Norris and Liz Powers, please come forward, will share with you just a few of the recommendations that were submitted to the School Health Association in support of Angie.
There were so many. When I had the opportunity to nominate Angie for this award, I sent out a call to get some letters of recognition to go with her, and everyone I asked was more than willing and gave me one immediately. And everybody had the same idea that I did, that she was the perfect candidate. So one of the letters says that as the school district contact for school health, that she'd had the opportunity to work with Angie on numerous occasions. There were 3 projects that stood out in her mind that reflect her true leadership and passion. The first and most tedious project involved the state mandate for the creation of the district wellness plan. Angie was one of the first to volunteer to serve on this committee and played a key role in helping to develop a wellness plan to meet the new state requirements. After the plan was approved, Angie helped to design the marketing materials and develop strategies for implementing the nutrition education requirements. She became the driving force to ensure that all students receive 5 hours of nutrition education each year. In collaboration with IFAS and the Family Nutrition Program, Nutrition Day was born. They just completed their 5th year at Bronson High School, and Bronson Middle High carries the distinction of being the only school in the district to have concluded 5 hours of nutrition education across the board. It included the curriculum of English, math, science, social studies, reading, PE, and band. This would have not happened without the force of Angie. She also didn't want to leave anyone out. She included the staff there, and she had a weight loss challenge for staff employees last year. She advertised, coordinated, had the weigh-ins, and led activities to promote this. She also has worked on the adoption of appropriate and board-approved sex education curriculum. Board-approved. When on campus and off, if you ask a student in the community who their school nurse is, they don't hesitate to answer, and I quote, "We have the best nurse ever. We can ask her anything, and she helps everyone. She doesn't care if we got money or whatever. She just loves us." Her philosophy is, "My job is my mission. It's not 8 to 5, go home and forget about it. It is what I was meant to do, and as long as I am able, I will give it my all." She is more than able, this spunky redhead of ours. We all benefit from her dedication and involvement. And we couldn't have had a better candidate or employee as the school nurse of the year for the Florida School Health Association. Angie Phillips.
Before she comes up here, Barbara Loftus came in too, who's our administrator. And you all know when you have an opportunity to nominate somebody, or sometimes you're asked to, you're like, who's it going to be? And it was just so easy to nominate Angie, because she just, said they have to be exemplary in this, and they have to participate in the community and the school, and with public health, and start community projects, and lead this, and she does all that, and she does it every day, which is so wonderful, and she's infectious. She has Cedar Key School, Bronson Middle High, the teen parent program. She helps in the clinic at the health department, so she's a busy woman on top of all that too. And an additional thing that I don't know if you all know about is she was also, this is like the year of Angie, but she was also nominated. The School Health Nurse of the Year is the School Nurse of the Year for all of Florida. So it's a pretty good distinction for, it's not just Levy County, so it's for all of Florida. She was also nominated for the Levy County Public Health Hero of the Year by the Department of Health, and was given that honor, so she's double. So we're very proud of you, Angie, and I don't know, Barbara, if you wanted to say anything else.
Well, I don't think there's much left to say. I think you almost said it, and it's true. Angie is a go-getter, and we just really, really love having her. She does a super job for all of the children in Bronson, and probably would do the whole county if she could.
I'll let her.
Yeah,
but we're very, very proud of her, and it is quite an honor to be selected School Health Nurse of the Year for the whole state. I mean, that is something special. So thank you all. Thank you, Angie, for all you do.
Dr. Winnett.
I want to speak on behalf of the administrator and the district office person. When I was at Hilltop, you know the quality of a person when they work with different types and groups of students. Angie never lowered her expectations for students at Hilltop in the teen parent program. And just recently, I drove by Summit, and there's a little picnic table outside of the Summit, and there was Angie sitting across from a student. If that doesn't epitomize her commitment and passion for students, and you could tell they were in deep conversation. I never said anything to her about it because I just knew that she was doing the work that Angie always does. Not to mention the fact that she also works with our teachers on a regular basis and us, the district office, to provide counseling and support. Often you will pass her office at Bronson, you'll have a teacher in there with Angie, and Angie is constantly working on the climate, the culture, and interpersonal relationships at the school level as well. So I want to thank her for that.
some wonderful things about Angie from the teacher's perspective and administrator's perspective. Let's see what our schools have to say. Liz did share that Angie does provide services to Bronson Middle High School, Hilltop and Summit Academy, Cedar Key. Here's a special message from Hilltop and Summit Academy. This is my first year of working with Angie Phillips, who's an awesome professional. Angie Phillips has done an excellent job of assisting both our schools during this year. Whenever our staff has called for her assistance, she has always responded in a timely fashion. Her desire to assist students continues to be a high priority in her professional service. On behalf of our faculty and staff from both schools, we want to celebrate this moment of excellence and recognition on behalf of Angie Phillips. She is a first-class nurse who has proven her leadership skills in her profession. We are proud of you, Miss Angie. Respectfully, Dennis Weber.
And from the Cedar Key family, Angie is very professional in her everyday dealings with students and staff. She takes her position very seriously, yet has a very soft touch when dealing with people. She always displays a positive attitude and is willing to do whatever it takes. Her primary focus is on the well-being of our children and their overall health needs. She is truly an asset at Cedar Key School.
Last but not least, we honor you from Bronson Middle High School. Angie Phillips has been an important part of Bronson Middle High School culture since she was a student here herself. At that time, she was also involved in school activities and was an exceptional cheerleader and student leader. She always had a knack for getting things done and was noted for her school spirit. We are happy to say that Angie hasn't changed in that regard. She is still as dependable as ever and is willing to help out wherever there is a need, regardless if it falls within her job description or not. She always goes above and beyond for students and staff. Angie still has incredible school spirit, so much so that Mr. Lott has given her the unofficial title of Alumni Liaison. The staff at Bronson Middle High School are extremely lucky to have such a caring professional as our school nurse. It is wonderful that the rest of the state has finally recognized what we have known for years. Nurse Angie is the best. And now, if you will allow me, Angie doesn't know this, but I know this. Her favorite song is...
In school.
It's another.
This is So I mean, everybody has to be here, but if you play it.
Could you sing?
No, you can't do that.
You're on your own.
No, it's not. It's messing up my flow here. I had it all. And it plays so well in my office.
It'll get there.
Keep going.
It's okay.
It's We Are Family. Oh, wait a minute. Here we go. Wait a minute. Oh. Come on, we can sing it. It's the song We Are Family, Sister Sledge. And so the idea was to play the song, it's still buffering, to play the song while we show you a few slides. So let's go ahead and dim the lights again. This is not good. I can't sing this song. It played very nicely this morning in my office. Mr. Hayes, what's happening in this boardroom? I cannot get the picture. Do we have it?
There you go.
Here we go. Coming up. All right, so here are a few songs, a few slides of that special day. This was at the awards luncheon, Angie? Yes, correct?
This is gonna work.
That's good. That's a few spirit. Angie, we do love you. All of us do. Those that are not with us today are thinking of you at work, at the school. They would love to have been here. So please join me in thanking Angie for all of her hard work. Please come forward. On behalf of all of us, a little something for you. You are the road.
It'll go with my other office decor I have today.
Take the background back there.
You can be in it.
They're backing on up. So it's set. Okay. One more.
Thank you.
Who's your board member?
Well, all of our districts.
Excuse me, Mr. Asbo?
Class of 82.
Yeah.
Mr. Asbell and Mr. Coward,
Okay.
board members.
Very good.
Look at, Ms. Pam.
Here, I get up there with
And,
Mr.
he's
Coward.
taking his
Come on,
time.
take
Okay.
I'll get on this end.
Come on, this end.
Going on that end?
I'll get you on this end. We gotta get it.
Okay.
Come on, Chris.
Yes.
There's my hat.
And just squeeze in as good as you can, please.
Are we tightened up?
Perfect. Nice picture. Need one more? Good day you there.
Thank you. Thank you.
Get that,
Angie and I graduated from school together. There's a controversy. There's a controversy. Now, technically, that's 82, and then they made me come back for 87. So. Ask Angie. It was so nice of them to class. Ask Angie. Class 82, right?
Yeah.
Nurse Eveready, we know that y'all have much to do. You're welcome to stay. Y'all can stay as long as you want, but if you need to go, we understand that too. But thank you so much.
Yeah, the kids
for
might
watching.
have.
Good job.
Pick something crazy as well.
Thank you very much, and congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Okay, now we have a grading policy presentation.
Good morning. Take just a minute to close this out. While I close this, I do have to say that in light of recent events in my family, it is great to know that my son, I do not worry about him at all. It's a good feeling to know that your kid is well taken care of. No matter what.
I got friends in low voices, so.
I think we need to go out there.
The party is still going on.
I don't think I'm going to be as much fun. Good morning. It's good to see all of you again. I have been charged with the task of kind of overseeing the grading policy committee. I'm helping to facilitate, just kind of get the information out there and work with the team. I have provided you a copy, and today I'm just going to share with you where we're at, what we've done, and what our next steps are. Some of this is what we did share when we initially started the team back in March. Principals, administrators, through just different things going on, it was decided that we needed to come up with a group to work on the task of grading and see what we can do with it. And as you see here, it's very difficult, it's challenging, there's lots of personal feelings involved in it, so that's why it's so hard to work with, from teachers, parents, students, everyone involved. Our scope of work is basically to review. We looked at what we have currently going on in different schools, whether it's elementary level, high school level, it also varies at individual schools. We've looked at research, we talked about questions. They've been working very hard to get stakeholder feedback. It's not just about what teachers want or what an administrator might want or even just what a parent wants. We have to look at all perspectives. So we've been reviewing those. That's actually currently what we're doing. The team, we set up the timeline when we first met. Our goal was to basically, after reviewing, getting feedback, to pretty much in June, by June, end of June, have some type of a policy to present. We looked at our current practices, and I'm sure you know this, but overall, our plan is pretty general. What we have in our pupil progression plan, and this is it. Basically, it defines the grading scale, which is consistent first grade through 12. And other than that, we don't have a lot of description in there, and there are other districts that have very detailed practices in their pupil progression plan and school board policy. So we kind of started here so everybody could see, and that's why there is so much, probably some differences in our schools because it moves into that. Another thing that wasn't there that is also, yes, sir?
Differences in schools, what?
Other than if you go back, that grading scale, we'll get into it in just a minute, but what is involved in that grade, some might include tests, quizzes, homework, effort, it varies by teacher, by school, how much they include, what they include.
But there's not any differences as far as you're able to determine between 90 to 100?
No, sir, that's consistent. That's consistent.
Thank you. That scale, that range scale, that pretty standard across the state.
It's a state grade.
Colleges, I understand. Thank you.
This is just a list of some of the initial research we looked at. We are keeping track of what we're looking at. We talked about in the team as what do we want our grades to convey. When you look at the research, there are different purposes, just like when you do anything, for grading. And who's our intended audience for this message? Those were two of the questions we really did hone in on. Our first goal, I'm going to kind of just go through this slide, we're going to get to this a little deeper in a minute, is our stakeholder feedback. That was the first task of the group here. We looked over, they developed surveys to share, and they created surveys for teachers, parents, and students. They did it fairly quickly. That's what we have here, our March 20th meeting, that's what we did. And they also determined when to give the surveys and how the surveys would be distributed. And our most recent meeting was last week. We had the results back from those surveys, and we worked to determine what the trends were and begin our policy.
So, I mean, what kind of questions do you ask on that survey?
We'll go over that right now.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
First, I'll share with you, there's a graph in there, just to kind of give you who responded and how many people responded. We had 193 teachers respond to the survey. 78 were at the elementary level and 115 were at the middle, high, or combo when we broke down the data. We had parents respond to a survey. We had 323 parents respond. 262 were at the elementary, middle level, and 172 were at the high school level. And when the parents went into the survey, they got to, we were able, I didn't present it in this presentation, but the team had the detail by school, and the principals got their information as well by school, so they know what their feedback is for their school. Students were also surveyed. We had 424 students. 223 of them were at the elementary level, and 101 were at the middle high school level. And just about every student, I believe it was every student surveyed, did leave. One of the questions that students were asked, and I'll get into it in a minute, was, the teacher that you feel has the best grading practices, what is it about that? And every one of them responded to that. We got really good information from our students. I was impressed with their feedback.
How were the participants selected for surveys?
All the schools it was left to their representatives of the team and administration to get the surveys out. Parents schools use different means to contact parents for them to be able to take the survey. It was online. It was an online survey. And again, that was determined, the teams determined how to get the surveys out. Students, middle high school, actually 3rd grade and up, were able to take it online as well. Kindergarten, 1st, and 2nd grade students were interviewed as well, but the teachers did an interview with them. Most of the schools asked teachers to do the majority of their class. One of the questions asked in the survey was, is your student an A student, B student, that kind of thing. And when you look at it, the range is pretty even across the board. So we have students from various students who were failing, not maybe doing very well, all the way up to students who are getting straight A's. Because they were asked how they feel they're doing with their grades. The students were asked how they feel they're doing, and parents were asked, you know, is your a student a C average student or a high student? They were asked those questions. So when we looked at the data, we were able to see a trend. It was only, you know, high-performing students that were asked, but it wasn't. I know Mr. Bennett in particular told us that when he talked to his staff, he tried to ask them to vary the students that they asked. So we weren't just asking one group of kids.
I know with us, our children were sent home these little, I don't know what color it was.
Like a flyer.
A flyer. He said, please like and please survey. That's what we did.
Yes. The teacher survey trends, and again, I can, if you want copies of the surveys, I did not print them today, but these are the general trends when the team went through. So here's some of the questions that were asked. Teachers, is there a grading policy in place at your school? Now that's, they do have the grading scale is in place, but a policy in place as far as, okay, I teach 5th grade math, there's a policy in place that says, you know, we both teach math. I might give 20% for assessments, 50% of her grade might be assessments. Is there a policy in your school that says, no, if you teach 5th grade math, your assessments are going to be 50% of your grade? So is there a specific policy at your school? At the elementary, 89% of teachers said yes. Middle high, 23% of teachers said yes, there's a policy in place. Then they were asked, well, do you want one? How do you feel about that? As you can see, elementary schools seem to like that they have a policy in place. 86% of them said yes. Middle high was a little less. 35% of them indicated that they were interested in having a set district policy in place for that. A big topic out there is AR. I won't get into the meat of that topic, but these are the results. They were asked if it should factor in a grade. The teachers were asked that. At the elementary level, 19%, 37% at the middle high level. Then they were asked about other things like what should be included in grades, such as homework, classwork, assessments, things like that. Classwork should count. 89% of elementary and 91% of the middle high teachers. Yes, sir.
Was it not asked about homework?
It was. I just didn't put every single question. We put the questions on here that had a really high respondent rate on here.
Oh, a high respondent rate.
Yes, sir. Because there were a lot of questions on the teacher survey, about 40. Do you remember, Patrick, how many questions? There were a lot. So I did not put them all on this slide. The ELA, another big topic is the category of assessment in grades. So they were asked, and the largest respondent in elementary was the ELA test category, being 40 to 59% of your grade. So basically about half the grade being just tests. 45% of teachers said that's how their grading scale works right now. At the high school level, the ELA test category, 87% of teachers said it's in that about 50% range. So that's how much of their grade is just based on tests, nothing else.
ELA stands for?
English language arts. Sorry about that. And then math, the majority of assessments are in a range somewhere between 60 and 79% at the elementary level. 43% have anywhere between 60 and 79% of their grade as assessments. So that only leaves, you know, if their assessments are 79% of their grade, that leaves 21%, a little bit of their grade is homework, other things. And at the high school level, it was the same. 56% of those teachers have a very high assessment category. So, you know, it was important for us to get feedback from the teachers to know where they're at, where they stand, what we're looking at, because it is different.
Back one more.
Yes, sir.
So by it not being included up there, the teachers did not feel that homework was that high a priority?
It wasn't a large percent in their grade category this time.
Isn't there some kind of correlation between homework and test grade?
I'm sorry, can you say that again?
Yes. Is there some kind of correlation between homework and test grade?
I don't know off the top of my head specific research to that,
Would make sense that it would be, right?
depending on what the homework is, if they can do it.
Well, sure, related to the class. So even more so, it would be a correlation between homework and test grades. Because it should relate to what's going on in the class.
Correct, it should. It should, yes. I agree with that. But it doesn't always. That's what we find.
Thank you.
Yes, sir? student survey trends at the elementary level. Of course, remember K2, the teachers interviewed the students, and they had about 4 or 5 questions, so it wasn't real lengthy for them. It was pretty general. We wanted to know, do students at this age level know that they're being graded? Do they understand what grades are? And overall, when you look at the comments and the response, yes, they do understand. They understand very well that they were getting grades. They were able to verbalize that. They were able to tell you, I know I'm doing good because my teacher tells me I behave well in class. A lot of that was coming out in the elementary. They related to behavior a lot, and I noted that up there. So they noted grades and behavior. So they do pick up on that. And when they were asked, what should your grade include? What do you feel like? And you know, it seems that students want to be, if they're doing the work, they want credit for it. They mentioned tests, they mentioned classwork, and they mentioned participation and trying their best. The elementary students, again, that's K through 5. Middle high, again, middle high, we had a lot of, we had over 400 kids respond. I was very impressed with our students. It was great to read their comments. They gave us so much information, and the good thing about that was, number one, it told us that, they mentioned rubrics a lot in their statements. They mentioned redoing work, assignments, so that tells us the teachers are doing these things. They know what rubrics are. That's a good thing. That means they're being exposed to this one way or another. They're very savvy. They perceive their math classes as being most fair. The word fairness is up there again with group work. They want to be, we asked a specific question about how do you feel group work should be graded based on everybody's effort, things like that, and overall, very overwhelmingly, they wanted to be awarded individually. They don't want somebody else getting credit for their work. And they told us that. They want effort, participation, and homework to count as part of the grade. Again, I think this is recognition of if I'm doing the work, I want credit for what I'm doing, and they indicated that. That comment there about fairness is important. These are some of the categories that they really spoke to. They spoke, and like I said, you can see their savviness here. These are not Michael's words. These are student words. Variety and balance of grading categories. That's what we've been talking about. Homework, tests, quizzes, classwork, all those things. I'll show you another slide in a minute. But they want a balance of those categories. They don't want one thing to mean their entire grade. That's their opinion. That's their feedback. They want clear and consistency. They want consistency in grading. They were very vocal about that. Our kids are telling us this. Partial credit earned for late work and or error corrections. They mentioned that a lot. They mentioned they want opportunities to redo work, whether it's because it's late or they had trouble with an assignment. They want the opportunity to redo it. And they also stated that teachers that are most fair go over errors. So, good feedback from our students. And this one, I apologize.
Those are some really nice comments out there.
Yes, they are. And, and I didn't just, those were the ones we saw over. There was a definite trends in those areas. You saw fairness. I mean, that word fairness came up everywhere. And it was, like I said, I felt very empowered to read what they had to say. I'll be happy to get copies for you guys so you can see those too. The parent survey trends. I apologize for this slide. I know it's a little, but I didn't want to do 100 slides for you. I know you can read this later, but I tried to match it up so you can see the correlation. This is the elementary response, and then the same question here, right next to it, so you can see. But 36% of parents were middle school parents that responded, and the larger portion was elementary over here, and then these were our high school parents. But here, checking Skyward, we asked them questions about Skyward because we want to know how they're using it, because that is our venue. As you can see, a large percentage check it once a week or more, because we had the options of once a week, once a month, never, and some daily, and a lot put daily. So if it was once a week or more, it was over 50% in both age groups. We asked the question, do you feel that grades are an accurate reflection of what your child's learning? How do you feel about that? And a large percentage do feel it's an accurate reflection, so in both sides, over 50%. The question was asked, what do you think we should do when there's missing or incomplete work? Because this topic comes up a lot, and as an administrator, and I'm just recently out of school, it's one of the things you get bombarded with. Well, I want my kid to redo the assignment, all that kind of stuff. So their opinion is to reduce points or only give a 0 after the opportunity for makeups. 85%, and it was 80% there. So what they're saying is that instead of just giving the 0 flat off the bat, is offer a few opportunities for retake and makeup, and only give that 0 if and when opportunity has been given. And then that ultimate, just give them a 0. They didn't do it, it was due today, just give them a 0, 15%, 50%. So you can see, very consistent. There is a 5% off here that they were, they just didn't have an opinion. That's why the number is off, because it's total 100. A big question, it's been an issue in some communities. The LEAs that we give are district assessments, SIM assessments, things like the FAIR assessment. Should they or should they be used in grades and for semester grades? Overwhelmingly, elementary, middle, 81% said no, and 70% said no at the high school level. And that was a question. I didn't put those percentages up there, but it was a question, it kind of varied across the board. We asked teachers, do you include LEAs in your assessment or SIM in your assessment? And it was more at the high school level. Most elementary schools do not. Actually, I think it's pretty consistent that they do not.
So what's going to be done about that? Is there consensus? Or
That's what the team, that's what we're, that's kind of our next step, is to look at that.
Because that is an issue that we hear about a lot.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, and that's kind of, that's right where we're at. That's why we wanted this information to kind of, that way when we sit with the team and make a decision, we can use this to help make our decision. And then we got kind of into communication is where we're kind of going with these next few questions. How often would you like to see grades? We had lots of options for them. It is interesting, but daily, 26%, 34%, weekly, 55%, 61%, and monthly, look at that. Parents want communication. This monthly thing is not working for them. 0.99. Technically, it's one. Parents want communication. This verifies it as well. Would you like to be contacted if your grade drops below a D? That was the question asked. Would you like to be contacted? Yes, 80 and 96%. Do you want a district-wide policy for categories? You know that we ask teachers that, we ask students that. Parents, again, it's over 50%. Some said no, a smaller portion said no, 13 to 28%. And I threw this in here because I did include it on the other slide, so I wanted you to see what parents thought as well. AR for grade, elementary, 37 said yes, 51%, so just over half said no. And again, just over half for high school said no. So those are some of the things that we looked at with everybody. And now, I mean, our challenge, we're not done yet. This is just kind of where our work is right now. Yes. Yes.
Would back up one,
Yes,
please,
sir.
ma'am. These percents, how many responses were there? I mean, how could I respond? Yes, no, maybe?
It
Just
varied
yes?
by question.
Well, I'm looking at, let me see, one district-wide policy and AR for grade.
Their options here
Yes.
were yes, no, and I think they might have had a no opinion. Some did have a no opinion, or because they didn't teach the subject. There was kind of that other button that they could push. So if you see percentages thrown out of 100, that's usually why.
Usually there is a third or fourth
Right.
response there.
Right.
And who was on the committee?
There is a mix of, it's mostly assistant principals. We have one principal that's been, we've kind of left it to the, as a leadership role for the assistant principals. So most assistant principals have been coming to the meetings when they can. I know Mr. Gibbs has been coming for Williston High School. We have, they were, administrators were asked them by teachers, one or two teachers from their school. So we try to have all schools represented. We have.
We do have teachers from every school that were
Yes, sir.
responding.
We meet again actually next Tuesday, and I asked, I will say this, we did bring up, we noticed, yes, sir.
I was struck by how negative the parents were regarding the LEA and SIM exams. Do you have some sense of what's driving that? Why are they so down on those exams? Or issues, I guess, for the grade calculation?
I can tell you what my comment is because one teacher will use it for a test grade, one teacher will use it as a homework, one teacher, it won't be anything. That's the main complaint that I get from parents.
And not consistent.
Right, that's right, that's right.
I
You
hear
didn't
it all the
test
time.
themselves though, or you hear a lot of, which in the terms of negative reaction, how well the tests match up with the curriculum.
We've had that, but, that kind of, it really doesn't have the validity to it that a lot of people would like. If your child's doing bad, then it's not good. If your child's doing well, then it's wonderful. But I will say this, but the emphasis is that kids want to be rewarded for the work they do, or evaluated on the work they do. If you do not count Leah's as part of their grade, they don't care. They don't care about the 5th and 11th grade science because they see no benefit to them. So why should I try hard because it doesn't benefit me? And so if you don't grade, you know, FCAT, what good is FCAT to me? I mean, it's a pride thing with a lot of kids. A lot of kids, it's like, it's nothing to me. I ain't worried about it. So I think it's very important that if we assign them work to do, if we assign them tests, that it counts in some way. But this will be sectioned out by the committee, and if we make it a board policy, then of course y'all would vote on it as a board.
And I was going to add to it, we did a presentation with the board on this, and the reliability to the LEAs is very strong, and the correlation to performance on FCAT is very strong as well.
And it was interesting to note, I've been McCarb at a couple schools we went to speak with parents about Leah. It's interesting, if you read through, kind of, that's a big, you hear a lot about that from parents. I don't hear students complain there as much as the parents do. I think on the student end, it's more about, they want consistency. They just want to know what they're being graded on, how it's being graded, you know, and some kind of consistency with that. It's not like you saw a bunch of comments on the students that said, we hate Leah's, why is my Leah being graded? It was more about, I just want to know what I'm being graded on, and when I do something, I want credit for it.
I don't think that's anything new, because that's the same thing they want to allow teachers to do. They want, you know,
Right.
they want to know how to get where they go with consistency.
But isn't that the same thing we want when they grade our schools and the district? We don't want them changing horses in the middle of the street, which they did last year. And, you know, we want to know how we're going to be assessed, what the assessment's going to be, and how we're going to be graded. And we haven't been able to get that from the state, but we certainly should try to work towards getting that for our teachers and students.
And I would say that's our goal, the committee's goal, and everybody that's been coming wants that for our kids. So I'll end with kind of this slide. This is what we kind of picked out as our trends, because grading is a huge, as you can see, there's lots of issues, there's lots of things, and we can drill down, and spend years on it. But definitely looking at categories. So the team would determine what categories to include. Like I said, this is actually, I'm going to share this with them when I meet with them next week. These are some of the examples of categories that teachers do use. So helping come up with some consistency, projects, classwork, homework, participation and effort, group work, behavior, attendance, assessments. And then assessments, again, that in itself is a whole category there. You have district assessments such as LEAs and EOCs. You have state EOCs and things like FAIR assessment. You have classroom quizzes and tests. And you have high school. Patrick's always helping you with high school. Clarification for those high school cohorts. Those of you know that try to keep up. Every group is different. So it's no wonder our children are confused what's being graded, what's not being graded. Our parents, and sometimes at no fault of their own teachers, because the state comes in and gives us some things. They'll say this is 30% this year. No, now it's 20% this year. So we're going to try to help everybody with all that and get some of us as much on the same page as we can. But part of that work is to define the categories. So, because right now, what is homework to me might not be homework to Mr. Asbell, believe it or not. That's what we noticed is one of our issues that we have to kind of settle. So some kind of definition for what these mean, clarification for everybody. So if I have a child in an 8th grade class, my friend has a child, and we're home talking, those kids are getting graded on the same thing. Determining weights for the categories, that's those few questions you saw in there about assessments being 50%, something else being 20%, helping with consistency on that. Note that all this is we're not saying that a first grader is gonna look the same as a senior. It's gonna vary, the grade level bands will be looked at. In high school particularly, we might be discussing points versus percents. This was one of the big categories that has come up, so we will try to address this as well. Are we going to do opportunities for do-overs, late assignments, to zero issue with these areas? Because it might look different for classwork, homework, projects, and tests. And then communication was the other area that I noted in there. Posting of grades, when to contact parents, and when to inform about testing visits. Because definitely you could see they want communication. So we will try to help in that area too.
Well, while you're walking back.
Yes, sir.
Another week, we're gonna be moving some people's cheating topics.
Yes, sir.
With this part, which is, again, I will contend and say it very bluntly as I can. The more teachers that you can include in helping you get this information and come up with these drafts or whatever, better we will be as far as them buying into it, because they had input into it, and so forth. The former principal, et cetera. Anytime I did something as a principal, the more buy-in I could get before I made a decision, the easier that decision was going to be. So again, I encourage y'all, please, as many teachers as have an interest in doing so.
I mean, not only are they invited to the meetings, but the survey itself is a form of them having input into what happens. So, you know, I think we're trying to do that.
Well, that's all we can do.
But
If we try and they don't, that's our deal.
we will have some kickback.
I don't believe
Those are the ones you need to try to get over there to, you know, okay, you give an opportunity, and don't come with your kickback now.
Will there be any consequences to the teachers who do not?
Well, when it's board policy, you know, then, you know, whatever's in board policy would certainly would be. You know, if it's a schoolhouse rule, then, you know, that would certainly be up to administration. But, and then, like you said, a lot of it's like EOC, this year it's 30% for the final grade, next year it's 20%, and we just have to wade through that and try to be as consistent as we can and get the information out as early as we can.
But you can get out either, or what they give you either.
Exactly.
So, that pretty much hit all these. Our goals, our next steps are to develop a draft policy based on this information. We're going to present again to the instructional, make sure we get feedback from the instructional team, administrators, so they can take the information back to their schools as well. I'll be talking with them this week at their meeting to get some more final input, thoughts that they have. And again, bring it back to you. Anything we develop and work on, we will bring back. And then in the end, whatever it is we come up with and develop together, there will be training and support for schools to share with parents, staff, on what that plan is, and parents as well. That'll be our next steps. A lot of work. Answer any more questions?
Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for your effort. I can tell it's gonna be a tough job.
There's some work that's necessary.
Get a certain opportunity.
Maybe the next time you do it for me, you could get one that we get off, that I can read.
A little bigger? I can do
Yes,
that.
ma'am, but when you get
Yes,
old,
sir.
your eyes go. Well, thank you very much. Okay, Ms. Edison.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, I'm here to ask you to approve the school calendar for next year. And you should have in your packets the school calendar, which also contains the school improvement growth release dates. Now, I do have, if you would like to know, the calendar, this is calendar B, and it was approved 447 to 138. And if you would like to have the individual school tallies, if you want to move those to one calendar. But one of the challenges here, as I was talking to some of y'all before the meeting, this is coming to you rather late. Matter of fact, our deadline, I think, is now. The reason is because, coming rather late is because some of these inconsistencies from the state, we don't know when the testing schedule is going to be next year, much less what the test is. Also, one of the things is we can't get a final commitment to them as to when the FTE week is for next year. So we have a best guess. And you can see down there at the bottom, it's tentative spring break dates contingent upon DOE testing dates. Now, we did send in, DOE did send out a survey as to when all school districts are planning their spring break, so that information was sent into Tallahassee. So this is our best guess right now at a calendar for next year. We must have one approved. And so what I'm asking for is to approve this calendar with the school improvement early release dates as well.
Those folks gotta have to understand that we have stuff we have to do here, and we can't do it today. They don't understand that. Well, why? I mean, there's nothing we can do to make them understand or care what's going on with it.
So I'm waiting.
No, you can't make people care, I know that, but
Move we accept the calendar.
No, separate.
any discussion?
What's the difference in days, first semester, second semester? I didn't see that on here, and I don't think I can count that. Accurate, nice. So, okay, is it significant?
Pretty close.
That's pretty close.
It's almost the same number of days.
Usually there are, but that's better than the first semester.
Well, having the first semester ended in January, it's going to be right close to being 9 days. It might be
It
9
is,
days.
first semester is 90 days, the first 9 weeks is 46 days, and the second one is 44 according to the
Okay.
calendar. Or that's opposite, I'm sorry, it was
That'd be
44,
90
46.
first semester, 91 second semester, right?
Thank you.
After I'm glad she examined before the break. I think that's pretty all we in my opinion. Is there any other discussion? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion passes. Thank you, Ms. Bennett. Ms. Pam, is there any changes to the minute? Ms. Evans, got any questions about minutes?
No, sir.
Mr. Cowell?
No, sir.
Mr. Brookins? Mr. Turner? I hear a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, nay. Motion passes. Consent agenda. Mr. Turner? I'm sorry, you have to change your excuse me. I'm sorry, Ms. Pam.
Okay. Looking on the consent agenda, page 1, page A. Number 2, that Molly Hunter is actually replacing Donna Lover. On number 4, Rebecca Salmarin is replacing Lisa Postorello. Then go down to D, student trips, and that softball team trip is actually, the school board will be paying the bus and driver. That will be charged to the board. And going down to F, under 2, under finance, we're going to remove B, the budget amendments 11A and 11B. Just strike those off. And then go to your addition 2 consent. And on B, on that student trip, the Williston High School baseball team, the board will also pay bus and driver for that trip. That's the only change.
Question back to, on the change, that Serena Thiessen, was that her name on there by mistake, or?
No, we are looking at position control. And
Okay.
actually what's happening is they're shifting within the school. And so it's not, it was whose position she was actually going to take. I said, no, it needs to be the vacancy that would be left. So we
So-
changed that
so
to
at this
reflect
point,
who's actually leaving.
So at this point in time, Serena,
Oh, she's still going to be there. She's just going to be in a different position and this lady's taking her place.
that Dean Dubois is actually leaving?
Yes.
Thank you. Sorry.
You got any other questions, Mr. Turner?
No, I'm not.
Ms. Brookins?
Why do we take off the general budgets?
We'll do it next time. We generally have one every board meeting.
It's to be the budget amendments is what we're taking on.
Yeah.
Not the general budget side.
Oh, the bottom, not
Yeah,
the.
the budget amendments.
Okay, but you're not gonna present or go over anything on that? Everything else has been answered, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Mr. Cowell?
Good, thank you, sir.
Mr. Adams?
Good.
Attorney, you got another question?
Well, relative to some other information, Dr. Nick, I think you and I had a discussion regarding the CFCC dual enrollment articulation agreement concerning those students that wanted full-time dual enrollment on the vocational programs. Did we determine that those students have to meet the same requirements as those that are going for the academic dual enrollment?
Can I talk to you after the meeting?
Yes,
Look
sir.
it up,
Yes,
just
sir.
to be sure.
That's fine. That's all.
Mr. Jones.
I have no questions. I hear a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Any discussion? All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, nay. Motion passed. Thank you very much. Superintendent.
Thank you, Mr. Philpott. Just briefly, I do want to mention, we gave you the trim calendar to look at. We didn't vote on it. We will be voting on that on June 3rd. And so I didn't want you to think that we've forgotten about it. We haven't, but we have enough time because it starts in July. So we'll bring that up for a vote on June the 3rd. And of course, to refresh your memory, both of our board meetings will be in the morning next month in June because of Wilson's graduation on that evening, June 3rd. I do want to say, just as Mr. Coward said in his eloquent prayer, that we have much to be thankful for. We have so many banquets going on right now with all of our schools, and award banquets and club banquets, FFA, and sports banquets and so forth. Much to be grateful for, thankful for in our communities. And I can't help but mention that it seems like it's, well, since I think Williston boys went to the state finals in basketball about 4 or 5 years ago, I had not been to a state championship game. And this year, well, for football, because my son-in-law played team playing in the state championship, Trenton, I went to that. But since then, I've been to the girls' finals for basketball for achievement, the boys' final for basketball for achievement, the girls' softball for achievement softball state champion. And since this meeting's over, I'll be leaving for Fort Myers for Williston championship. And just because that's sports, we have so many other things, so many other state champions. There are people competing for state championships in various categories of FFA, and even the clubs being recognized for their outstanding achievements. And so I do think that we are very blessed with our faculty, staff, and students that work so hard. And I certainly want to, I can't name you all the people that are up for state awards. But anyway, I'm grateful for the hard work that our staff does, and our teachers and our students. And thank you, Board, for all the support that you give to them. And thank you, Mr. Counselor, for keeping me out of jail on so many occasions. I appreciate that too. Anything that you want to?
I agree with you, Mr. Superintendent. I think it's pretty phenomenal that, along with other awards, we got 4 different state Final Four appearances from the same county.
Yes.
And I think that's pretty amazing. That speaks very well of, I think, what our teachers do. And I think it's pretty cool.
I think that uplifts the whole school. We have those type of things in recognition, and we certainly do upon that thing.
Thank you. Mr. Turkey, got anything?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Adams?
Oh, I don't really have anything other than, we have my stuff coming, lots of language, and there's gonna try to make the best effort to this meeting.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
That's all I got. And go
first thing is tomorrow night is legislative review in Lake City, so I'll be making plans to attend, so I don't know if any other board members in this.
We will be,
5 to 7:30.
yeah. We'll be taking some administrative staff on that also.
That's still in the,
Same place.
okay.
Then the next thing is Thursday is Cedar Keys FFA banquet, so you're all invited to that. So they'll be starting at 5 o'clock, so 5 to 5:45, and then got to do awards after that.
You have a plan?
I'm not sure what they're having, so. And then the last thing is I emailed all of you and also sent it to Dr. Winek. In September, about 6 weeks, the Smithsonian's having what they're calling Museum on Main Street. And it's kind of just a really cool thing. It's going to be there for a long time. And it's the way they worked, and so it would be a great thing. It's kind of a feather in our cap for the county. We'd love to see as many students come down and take advantage of that, because with that, and then also the Historical Society and the State Park are going to get, and the Aquaculture Association, music has happened on kind of a clam tank exhibit and whatnot, but a real hands-on thing that would be nice to include with our students.
Thank you, Mr. Calvin. Mrs. Brooklyn?
I haven't signed up for one of those parade for chief one, but I would also like to ask about the Williston Parade. That's on July the 3rd. Board members and stuff.
When you want on parade?
The 7th on Saturday, and then this is July the 3rd. We always do the Williston Parade too.
What time is the board meeting? 10 o'clock?
10 for chief one, and Williston's 4 o'clock, or lineup is at 4.
There you go. Let us know where we're gonna meet and all that kind of stuff.
I mean, I just want to make sure.
Thought we were doing the watermelon parade.
Well, we are. I got that done, but I didn't ask about Williston. But I did book and sign it.
I think in chief, we need to be around 30 behind, between the middle school session, as you said.
Yeah, we'll get.
That's on June the 7th, right?
That's June 7th, but yes, on July, yes, on Williston, everybody? Yes, yes, yes. Yes, yes,
Just thought about the use this convertible.
I know, we like this
Oh, that was
car.
sweet.
So, and yeah, if I'm there, we can do it.
Okay.
You can use my car while I'm there.
And that's all I have. Wishing Williston the best tonight, it's wonderful.
Thank you, Ms. Brooks. Mr. Turner?
I had one comment concerning the school safety and security self-assessment form. I know we put yes on everything there, so we should have, no one get injured and no theft, break-ins of any kind this coming year.
Never did that.
We said yes on all the best practices, so go safe.
You go say.
Thank you, Mr. Turner. I only have one thing I'd like to publicly thank the superintendent for our new middle school principal. I think that, well done, and we appreciate it.
Very good. She's excited. I'm telling you, she is ready to go, and I think she'll do a great job. She'll work hard to get on the proceedings. So
Thank you.
I think it's good.
Best of the students. That's all I have. Is there any other?
I forgot one thing. On Friday, we're having an advent cookout up here across high school. Everybody's invited.
I guess I would be remiss if I should say this. I'm a proud father of a state champion on the aquaculture team, middle school.
Congratulations, Mr. Calvin. Any other questions or comments? Meeting adjourned. Thank you for coming.